You are listening to the Overthinker's Guide to Joy, episode 70. If you've been listening to the last few episodes, you'll note there's been a common thread amongst all my latest guests. And that thread or theme has been about starting second careers later in life and how age is just a number. That is, it's never too late to start something you love. So with that, let's dive in with today's guest, Micah Nickens. This is a podcast for overthinkers, overdoers, and overachievers who are tired of feeling overanxious and just want to feel better. I'm your host, certified life coach, Jackie DeCrenis. All right. So thank you guys for coming today. Today, I have a special guest. He is not only a friend, but also an inspiration to me. His name is Micah Nickens. And Micah was born on Maui, although his mom and dad, like me, were Californian transplants. He grew up playing a lot of baseball, soccer, and basketball. And his dad, who was an avid surfer, spent most of his time with his dad surfing, and it became a little bit of an obsession. So much so that by middle school, he stopped playing all the other sports and just focused on the ocean. And the idea of becoming a pro surfer was starting to become a reality. And at 13 years old, he got his first official sponsor, which was Dakine, and started his journey of becoming a pro surfer. He spent 15 years traveling the world as a pro surfer. And at the end of his pro circuit career, he was hired by Dakine as a team manager, where he continued to work with the greatest surfers in the world, both world champions and Olympic gold medalists. He eventually became the marketing director of all water-related sports for Dakine. And after 22 years, he left to start his own brand, which is called Uncle's Movement, a lifestyle brand with a very powerful message and mindset. And that's what we're here to talk about today, because this brand inspires me, and I think it'll inspire you too. So with that, I want to welcome Micah Nickens.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Aloha.
Aloha.
So
happy Aloha Friday.
Happy Aloha Friday. Although this, I think, airs on Wednesdays, but it'll be our Aloha Friday when we recorded it. So Micah, I love this brand. I love what you're doing. I love that, like me, you left, although I didn't have a 15-year career as a pro surfer. I love, like me, you left corporate life, what we refer to as the safety of the corporate bosom, to adopt and develop your own brand and your own philosophy and bring it to the world because you really believe in this mission statement and in what you're doing. So I'd love you to talk about how Uncle's Movement was born, where the name comes from, and all the things that it is.
Okay. Hopefully I can stay on track. So the name was created because I was so embedded at Dakine on focusing on the youth and the younger athletes. It was just the right thing to do. You wanted to keep the brand young. Brands age out, and that can be the detriment to it in the future. So it was important that we kept a focus on the younger athletes. And during that time, I had my own social media, so I would occasionally put a photo up or a video clip of myself surfing. I'd hashtag it with Uncle's Movement, just kind of more or less as kind of a joke, because I was by no means part of that youthful movement. It kind of caught on to where some of my friends were doing the same. They were appreciating what it stood for, where it didn't have the deep meaning it has now. At the time, it was more just a reference that we're, not young, but we're still getting at it and trying to battle the younger kids in the water and show them that we still got it. We still have what it takes to create the wow factor. And as time progressed, I started to think about how there's kind of a void in the action sports industry where most of the brands are trying to speak to the younger demographic. You've got that 18 to 25-year-old. And through the halo effect, they just assume that the older people and the younger kids will resonate towards the messaging. And I just figured, well, let's just speak to the older demographic, that 35 and up. I want to create something that has a lot of inspiration behind it, a lot of motivation. It drives people to either maintain the mindset they have or to encourage them to create the mindset they should have. It kind of developed slowly. It was over time. I created an Instagram account. All of a sudden, I had pretty legitimate athletes following it and making comments and allowing me to post, little features on them. They're like, yeah, heck yes, I'd be honored. So I was like, it's being taken serious. Like this little idea of mine is being accepted in a world where, it's hard to impress a lot of my friends and some of the peers out there because they're so talented. They expect so much out of anything that I was like, wow, this is actually kind of working. So I felt like this is an opportunity to really go bigger than just an Instagram account. I see there's opportunity to create an apparel brand around it and even so much more. I mean, at the end of the day, it's become, honestly, I don't even know how large of a platform this can become because opportunity keeps kind of knocking every day. Like I realize, well, I could do that as well. There's not only selling apparel, but creating a platform where it's a community where people can come in and feel like they're a part of it. And they feel like, you know what, I'm part of the Uncles movement. And this is driving me to be a better person every day, and whatever that looks like, it's case by case. Everyone has their own personal drive and some go really hard. They're doing their 75 hard challenges, or they're just going to relax and stop drinking as much as they normally do, or they're going to put down, stop eating as much sugar as they normally would, and then try to just create a better scenario for the future.
I love that.
In a very long-winded answer, I think I got it.
You got it. Let's go back to basics though, because you have to remember the audience is not predominantly from Hawaii. And so there's some terms that we'll probably end up using in this podcast where we might stop and explain. And one of them is the word uncle. So where does that come from?
So growing up in Hawaii, we would address older people and respected peers in the community as uncle or auntie. Instead of just saying their name, it'd be like Uncle Micah, no relation whatsoever, but it's just a sign of respect. And in that same aspect, these uncles and aunties also, it comes with a bit of an earned privilege to be addressed as an uncle or auntie, because these people these kids and the younger generations look up to them and view them as what they would like to be in the future, whether it's, in the water or athletic or just respected in the community or how they give back. There's so many different angles to it, but it ultimately boils down to it's more or less an earned privilege to be called that. So the brand is kind of evolves around that same ethos where it's a respect and respected.
Love it. Love it. And movement is obvious, right? It's to keep moving. Talk to us a little bit, or talk to the audience a little bit about your philosophy about age just being a number, which I adore. And it's something I write about a lot.
Yeah, it's really important that we maintain a mindset as we get older. As soon as that falters, a lot of our day-to-day habits are going to change course in most likely a negative way. And it's for me, I just turned 47 a couple of days ago. And before I'd be like, oh my God, I'm almost 50. And after kind of developing this brand and trying to live through this mindset myself, it's like, you know what? I'm healthy. I'm blessed. I'm happy. I should be excited for every year I turn another age, another walk around the planet. There's a term.
Oh, another year around the sun?
A year around the sun. Thank you. Yeah. And so rather than being discouraged that I'm getting older, it's like, heck yes, I'm getting older. And I mean, heck yes, I'm still doing what I love to do as I get older, more or less. So age is only a number is more true than it could ever be, ultimately. I mean, it's really, if you truly believe that, then the sky's the limits for the future. We all deal with our own issues, whether it's injuries, there's health issues, there's mental issues. I mean, we all have, no one's perfect. We all are humans. So we all fall short to a lot of things. However, if you hold that messaging high above everything else, the idea is to try to overcome these issues in a way where you can still march forward with a real positive mindset. And that's the messaging behind the brand is really like, age is only a number. Let's march through life. And, is it Dylan Thomas, the poet, who says like rage against the dying of the light? Like, I love that. It's just like, bring it on. We're going to have fun as we get older instead of complaining and making up excuses.
Well, and you as a recreational athlete and a professional athlete and now a recreational athlete. So in that kind of arc, right? You started out playing traditional sports like baseball and soccer and basketball, and then decided to devote all your time to water sports so that you could become a professional surfer. Since becoming a professional surfer, or I should say, since you stopped being a pro surfer, how many different sports have you added to your arsenal? Can you even name them all?
Yeah, I mean, the list doesn't stop, but yes, I mean, I can name a few of them for sure. I've picked up tennis. I am absolutely in love with tennis. The waves can be relatively good, and I still may jump ship and go to the tennis courts, which was something I never would have done in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I love martial arts. I love jujitsu. I love Muay Thai. I love the arts of combat, in a very friendly way. I picked up pickleball, which I really appreciate now. It's what's great about pickleball is you get all these walks of life because it is an easier sport to pick up versus tennis. So
Definitely.
a lot more people jump in and want to try it. So you meet a lot of new people. And yeah, that's hand-eye coordination. I feel like that sport really helps sharpen that. I picked up foiling. I tried skateboarding recently again, which
And then
didn't end well.
don't you also ski and snowboard?
Yeah, I'm a snowboarder. So
Okay.
I've been snowboarding since I was really young. I
Okay.
love getting up into the mountains, and yeah. So I'm
Okay.
kind of just a jack of all trade when it comes to sports. I still love to play soccer. I used to play in a softball league well before COVID kicked in and that kind of
Mhm.
shut everything. Yeah. I love being busy. I love staying busy.
Yeah.
It's so therapeutic.
But I think the point that I was making was that in your 40s, even after having this illustrious career in one discipline, you still do that. And, and that's the big word is right? And you've added pickleball, tennis, martial arts, et cetera, and winging. Did you say foiling or winging, or do you do both?
I can foil the winging part. I'm still very beginner, borderline kook.
I'm sure it's just a matter of time till you learn
Yeah.
that and master that as well. But the point is, you're always adding things. And I've known you for several years. And like me, you've had your share of injuries. Yours are more severe than mine, although you recover faster, which is kind of amazing. Like you'll sprain an ankle or break something. You'll be like, yeah, I'm back on the court. It's 6 weeks later. It's kind of amazing. But I
I
love the can do ness of your spirit. And I love the can do ness of your brand.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it kind of comes with the territory. If you play hard, you pay hard. It happens. You just have to accept the fact that injury is imminent if you really give it a good go at a sport. It's going to
Yeah.
come eventually.
Yeah.
It's one of those things you just have to accept it. It's funny because when I do go down from an injury, my brain now kind of just automatically clicks, which is great because I bypass the depression now. I just go into like, it is what it is. I have to let it heal. And then I take the PT incredibly serious.
Yeah.
Like with the rolled ankle, I've rolled my ankle too many times now playing tennis where I already know what the procedure entails. I immediately go to acupuncture. There's ice, elevation. I mean, there's deep tissue massage, and it does it. You can turn an injury around a lot quicker if you're very proactive about it, for sure.
Definitely. Definitely. So every time I go to play tennis or every time I play pickleball, or even when I'm walking around just like my neighborhood, I see another uncle's movement, t-shirt, water bottle, or hat. It's like they're having babies. Literally, it's growing so fast. Talk to us a little bit about, I mean, that's a local thing because so many people know you here on Maui. So you're so involved in so many different sports and sports communities. Everyone loves you. They're happy to wear your brand. It's also a super cool t-shirt, hat, water bottle. I mean, you've got so much great swag. But talk about like what's showing up in your business just as you've just launched this not that long ago. What's showing up in your business in terms of partnerships and other opportunities nationally, internationally, what have you?
Yeah, it's been great. Every day there's, oh my gosh, this brand wants to partner. I've had some great success partnering with other brands and doing collab Instagram posts. I recently got invited to the KHON Channel 2 News and did a 7-minute interview live. That was crazy. That was
I
super
saw
fun.
it.
But
It was excellent.
yeah, thank you. I was nervous. I'm actually, this Monday, I'm heading to Oahu and I'm co-sponsoring that new wave pool on Oahu where they just put like $115 million facility over in Eva Beach. It's beautiful. It's just crazy how beautiful it is. But they're going to do, for the next 6 weeks, every Monday night at 8 o'clock, it's the uncle's Pauhana sesh. And the idea is to just try to encourage some of the uncles that are, and aunties that are in the 35 and up realm to come check it out. There's a discount, a discount that's actually a very nice one, and get them out there to give it a go. You ride that wave, and it's not surfing per se. I mean, it is, but it's a different approach. But the exercise you get from riding that thing is ridiculous. My legs were burning for days afterwards when I rode it a couple weeks ago. But that's another opportunity I had. I mean, the list is long, but I've also started really getting a lot of curiosity going all over the United States. I call them like little fires. I got little fires burning all over the United States. It's great. I have Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, all over California, central, the United States, like areas, Vancouver, Canada, Australia, France. I mean, it's great. These little hubs are starting where people are getting into it, and then their friends are getting into it, and they're starting to learn about it. And it has the ability to really grow and blow up. I'm approaching it very grassroots-ish at the moment. I'm not trying to pump a ton of money into it and fake it till I make it. I really want it to grow uniquely and organically. And I feel like that is happening. Obviously, Maui is taken off. I have a pretty good sphere of influence on Maui just because of what I've done over the years. And I do appreciate that. That's very close to my heart. But when I see like some guy send a shot to the Instagram account who lives in like Michigan, and he's rocking a hat and he's just so proud of it. It feels so good. It's like, yes, this person's into it. And yeah, so the growth of this brand has taken off, and it's been exciting and super busy.
Well, what I love is it's not just local, and it's not just men, and it's not just men of a certain age, because I'm seeing young men wearing it, older men wearing it, middle-aged men wearing it. And then some of our top female pickleball players and tennis players are wearing it. And so Uncle's movement is not just for men. It is, while Uncle, the reference is male, it is really a lifestyle brand.
It truly is. I mean, it just really represents, at the end of the day, if you look past the fact that it says Uncle, you just start to focus in on the mindset of what it represents. And yeah, I mean, I'm about to put a post up today with some of our top pickleball playing women wearing a shirt and a hat while they're competing. I had this 30-year-old, very local bodyboarder come up to me in the water and be all, "Brother, I love what you're doing." And I was just like, yes. How old are you? He's all 30. I'm like, whoa. So yeah, it goes well beyond my so-called demographic of what I'm aiming and targeting for. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I love what you said. This is in one of your marketing endeavors. Never stop doing the activities you love. Never stop appreciating your life and your ohana, which again, that means family. Never stop being a respected pillar in the community. Never stop loving yourself. Our ethos is to live, love, and laugh. Look forward to the future with optimism and excitement. Understand that age is only a number. Grab life by the horns and own it. We are living in a very divided time. Politics can become nasty no matter what side you're on. The Uncle's Movement is a community where everyone can put aside their differences and appreciate what life has to offer. Yeah, that is so cool.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I got so sick of being on Instagram and seeing both sides just yelling at each other and telling each other how wrong they are. And it's just like, you guys were friends before this. Like, why even go down that road? Who cares? Keep your opinion to yourself. Like everyone has an opinion, respect it. That's it at the end of the day. But the Uncle's Movement's not about that at all. We leave that at the door. We want you to come in and appreciate the finer things in life, and what brings a smile to your face, and encourage that to maintain. Ideally, I want everyone to feel like they're invited. I want this to be very inclusive. I want anyone who feels like you don't have to be great at a sport. That's a misconception that I get quite a bit. Like, I'm like, people come up to me. I'm like, I'm not really that good, but I love what you're doing. I'm like, that's not where we're going with this at all.
Right.
Like, you're in. The fact that you have an inner fire that creates your drive to get up and go, I want to go surf. I just learned how to surf in my 40s.
Yeah.
And I am absolutely addicted to it. I just learned how to play pickleball in my 60s. I'm hooked. That's it. That's all I want to hear. That's all what the brand wants to represent you with, is just that encouraging inner fire,
Yeah,
whatever it looks like.
or I started taking a walk around the block every day and I've never exercised before. Like, great, whatever it is, just move and just be out wherever it inspires you, whether that's a gym or whether that's a mall or whether that's the beach or a park, just move. Talk to us about this Betterment Challenge that you created.
Yeah. So my friend Nick Ponte and I came up with this challenge. The idea of the challenge is to kind of recalibrate your life's balance. It can easily get offset with priorities, family, personal, mental anguish. I mean, there's so many reasons why we can be off kilter. And I personally have experienced it myself deeply. And I have you to thank for helping me get out of it. The challenge is ultimately it's a 14-day challenge. And each day there's a task and a focus that you ideally should give it the proper attention. Like day one it's a reflection, like reflecting on all the good things you've done in your life and write them down and acknowledge them and appreciate them and be proud of yourself for what you've done, because it's easy to start becoming pessimistic and looking at everything from that glass half empty, right? So let's flip the script and come at it from a positive, optimistic mindset. Then there's the clear vision, where the idea is for you to set your goals out for the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. What does that entail? Is that going to change from what you're doing now? Are these goals going to encourage you to, put certain vices aside, maybe even put them away entirely, or just to moderate them? Forgiveness, that's a big one. A lot of people, including myself, that's a tough one. And if you can find forgiveness in your heart for whatever the situation might be, that takes away so much unnecessary stress in your life. It frees up so much energy that you don't need. And I really appreciate that one. Mindfulness is a huge one. And that's something I kind of encouraged from the beginning of the challenge, and this is something that you really brought to my life, is just to sit down and have peace and quiet for 5 to 12 minutes or however long it needs to be, and just focus on your breathing and you put some kind of white noise behind you or something that just doesn't distract you, and just focus on some really good, perfect breaths. It's crazy how good you feel after one of those. I mean, you get this tingling sensation that feels so good. It's kind of like a runner's high is the way I can compare it. But it really resets your brain and just your daily mantra to be a lot more positive, and you put aside a lot of the negative thoughts in your head. Gratitude is another one. Just being grateful, looking at life and being grateful for the things that are around you, and instead of wanting the things that you don't have, being grateful for the things you do have, and just living in the moment of gratitude. I think that's a huge one. The challenge isn't about it's not like a 75 hard where you have to drink a gallon of water every day and you have to do 30 minutes of workout in the morning and twice a day. It's not extreme. It's completely doable. But I really feel like if you do practice these tasks and then you try to turn them into a day-to-day lifestyle, it's really going to help reset your life in a really solid, powerful way.
Absolutely.
It's just finding balance, right? We get off kiltered with that balance really easy in our day-to-day. And I feel like this kind of helps reset and realign that balance. So
it's so good.
Yeah.
I love that. And where can the listeners go and read about the Betterment Challenge? Where can they see you on Instagram? What's your website? All the things.
Yeah. So I do have an Instagram account. It's at Uncle's Movement. Facebook is the same. And then unclesmovement.com is my website. So if you go to the website, you'll see under the menu, you'll see the Betterment Challenge. You click on it, and then you have to download it. So it's too big of a file to just pull up. You have to download it. So you have to go through all the prompts. And then, the idea is to just flip through it each day. You can print it and mark the task, or just mentally mark it and try an accomplishment. It's, like I said, it's completely doable. It's super achievable. And I really feel like you will see some success by the end of it.
Yeah. I've seen just a massive transformation in you in the last year or so, just as you've adopted this philosophy and brand and really living your brand and being an embodiment of it. And I think it's contagious in such a good way. And I love it.
Thank you. Yeah, I've really had to hold myself accountable in order to practice what I preach, right? I mean, it's not that I'm preaching this, the brand's talking about it, but I am the face of the brand. Therefore, I need to be an example of the brand as much as humanly possible. Like I said before, we're not perfect, and I certainly am not. But I am going to try and be a better person. And the cool thing about the Uncles Movement is I kind of hold it to a standard where, will my 14-year-old daughter approve of what I'm doing? And you know my daughter, she's incredibly mature for her age. And
Definitely.
if I were to do something that goes off brand, she's going to give me a heads up on that. So the idea is to like follow the guidelines and script to where my daughter's like, this is cool. I dig it. So it's really cool. It just holds me accountable, whether I'm in the water or on the courts or just driving. It's like, all right, I have a sticker on my car. I have a sticker on my surfboard. I'm wearing a shirt or a hat. Like, I have to maintain this. I have to be a better person. I have to rise above situations at times. And yeah, it's been great. I really feel like this brand is helping me as a person more than anything has thus far. So I appreciate what it's done for me.
That's amazing. That's amazing. It's like having a mantra, right? It's like writing down a mantra, knitting it on a pillow, putting it on as a bumper sticker, wearing it as a tattoo. It's a mantra. And so when you see Uncle's Movement, you remember, get up and move and be a good person.
Yeah. If you can just try to have the mentality that I want to be 1% better every day, at least, I feel like you're going to be on the road to success. You know, if you're always trying to hold yourself accountable to mental and physical well-being, like just really identifying how self-aware you are. That's real important. Being aware of your flaws, the things that you're really good at. Just how can you contribute to society where when I do leave this planet, I feel like a lot of people will be like, he was a great person and he's going to be deeply missed. So I don't know. I mean, it's a little deep, but yeah, there's not many brands out there that are trying to encourage people to do that. And I was like, and I want to create something that makes people want to be better, so, you know, make themselves better. And it seems to be working.
I love it. I love it. Well, like I said, you're here today because it inspired me, your mission statement, just your promos, your Instagram feed. I mean, everything about the brand inspires me. And I was like, you got to come on this podcast because that's what I do as a life coach. I mean, we're all about like trying to manage your own mind and body so that you are more successful in life, whatever success is defined by you. Because for some people, that's money. For some people, that's health. For some people, that's richness in relationships. For some people, it's just managing their own chaos in their brain. And Uncle's Movement is an extension of that philosophy that I believe so profoundly in. And so I wanted to have you here today and sort of just say, great job, keep going, and let everybody who listens to this just know that it's available to you via Instagram, Facebook, on your website, as a t-shirt, as a hat, as a water bottle, as a sticker for your surfboard, whatever it is, but it's available for everybody. And I just wanted them to know Micah Nickens.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me. Thank you.
It was awesome. Great seeing you, Micah, and we will talk soon.
Aloha.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Overthinker's Guide to Joy. If you're enjoying these episodes, please subscribe or follow this podcast so you can always be in the know when the next episode drops. If you would like to learn more about working with me as a coach, you can connect with me through my website at jackiedegrenis.com. That's JACKIEDECRINIS.com.